Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, brothers and sisters. Thank you very much for joining us again here on another Sunday brunch. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah,
Alaikum
Sayyidina.
assalam wa rahmatullah.
Welcome to this show. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
So it's still in the beginning of the new year. And last episode, if you guys remember, we talked about New Year resolution, right? And I personally, I don't know about the wonderful people out there, but I personally find social media to be a nuisance when it comes to sticking to my resolutions. And it's probably because it's so distracting, it's so accessible, it's right there in your face, it's got so many notifications that buzzing all the time. And aside from all of that, people at different stages of their lives react to social media differently. And I think it's really important for us to keep that in mind, whether you're a parent with a child, whether you're a teenager with a phone, whether you're an adult with a resolution with a phone, all of these have to be, dealt with differently, I guess. So let's talk about that today.
I definitely believe that if people knew the dangers of social media, it would definitely be high up there on their list of resolutions to detach themselves from basically being so involved and immersed in the world of social media. I mean, I can think of hundreds of stories where people have suffered from depression, jealousy, loneliness, or other things that can ruin their lives due to basically spending so much time or prioritizing social media in your life, making it the most important thing of your life. So I was reading up on this, and today there is something called social media depression or Facebook depression. And it's interesting where people are actually suffering from depression because of social media.
Right.
As in they look at, other people's Instagram and, obviously you're not going to post the times
Your
where
down
you're
days,
down
right.
or you're not doing well or you're not feeling okay on social. You're not going to project that on social media. You can have you can be going through the most difficult of moments, but what you're going to capture and show the people is a smile,
living my best life.
Exactly. So people see that and they're like, oh, why isn't my life not like that? And they get depressed. Some people may not know how dangerous social media can be unless they read up on it and do some research. So if you were to develop like a social media app, they would say that the most important thing about this app, if you want it to be a successful app, it needs to be addictive. And that's exactly how they are. I mean, look at the big apps like Instagram,
Snapchat,
Twitter.
Facebook.
They're all very addictive. And there's this anxiety about what's going on in my social media. Did I get a comment? Did I get a like? How did people react to this new post or whatever I've wrote? And let me add this, and before we move on to hopefully finding some ways to avoid social media as much, that it's very dangerous for kids. The amount of dopamine that is rushed into our brain once we get 100 likes or 20 comments on a new post is 400%. And
Wow.
It's exactly the same, very close to a rush or of cocaine. When you spend so much time and you get this rush of dopamine, would you want this to be happening to your kids? I mean, would you want to give them cocaine every day and let them use it every day? Some people are doing this to their 10-year-olds and 8-year-olds and 7-year-olds.
We don't understand the destructive effects of it. Like
Nature.
with cocaine, we
Yeah.
see it, oh my God, that person has changed so much and their
Yeah.
mind is just, fading away.
Yeah.
But you don't see that happening with social media, and you think, oh, they're so creative and,
Yeah.
they're experiencing new things and they're connecting with the world. And it's so good to have let our child have that platform. So maybe we try to
Managing it.
Exactly. Exactly, because I'm having trouble understanding why is it wrong to give a person a platform? Why is it wrong to get connected with the rest of the world? I mean, it's the age of technology, it's inevitable either way. I think perhaps we should draw lines. This is healthy platform. After this, you're just going haywire. So how do we raise that sort of awareness in our children? Or how do we have to raise it in our parents first, then our children, then...
Parents, I'm sure, would tell their kids, don't sit next to somebody who's smoking because secondhand smoking also kills.
Yeah.
But when it comes to having a phone in their child's pockets, then they're okay with it because they don't know how dangerous it is. So I would say number one is to educate people. We should educate ourselves and people around us on the effects of social media. Also, how much we should spend time on social media is very important as well. 20 minutes a day, an hour a day, for your children, how long would be okay? What kind of apps would be okay as well? I mean, some of those apps you can't really monitor what they do, and some of them you can. I would say whatever that is considered wasting time, we should avoid altogether. So once we start considering it a waste of time, if it's more than 20 minutes, it depends, maybe you are somebody who your work, your lifestyle engages you with people to an extent where you have to spend more time than an average person on social media, or you have a business or a company, and then not keeping it so accessible. If it's on your home screen or the notifications are on 24/7, then I would just put them on mute.
So and like during our conversation you kept emphasizing on how important time is and not to waste our time, whether it's social media or anything else. So at this point I'm thinking that we could turn to a hadith from the Ahlul Bayt or Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that people can resonate with.
There is a very, very famous hadith that you've probably heard and some of the listeners would be familiar with. That is, a person came to Rasulullah and he says to him, advise me. A'idhuni ya Rasulullah. Some people say it was Abu Dhar. And some people say it was just an Arabian man that did that. So he says, اغتنم خمسا قبل خمس. Make sure you take care of 5 things before 5. So it's a hadith that it's already interesting. What are those 5 things? شبابك قبل هرمك. Make sure you take care of your youth before you become old. And then he says, وصحتك قبل سقمك. And your health before your health deteriorates. And that doesn't necessarily mean when you become old. It means that you're healthy today, but you may not be so healthy tomorrow. When you're healthy and you're young, so this is what the Prophet's trying to say, this is the best case scenario, so take care of it. Then he says, وَغِنَاكَ قَبْلَ فَقْرِكَ. And once you're wealthy, don't think, oh, now I'm wealthy, I'm just going to become wealthier. That's not the case. You may not be wealthy tomorrow. You may not be wealthy next week or next year. So today, if you're young and if you're healthy and you're wealthy, make sure you take care of that. Make sure you understand its value. وَفِرَاغَكَ قَبْلَ شُغْلِكَ. And your free time before you become busy, وَحَيَاتَكَ قَبْلَ مَوْتِكَ. And your life while you're alive before you depart from this life. And the Quran is very clear that people then would desire to come back to life, to be more charitable, to do good things, to become better people. But that opportunity is over and we have to move on to the next life. So the Prophet really draws this beautiful picture for us. And I think, at this stage in the beginning of this year, beginning of 2020, let it be that year where we're seizing all those opportunities before they depart away from us.
Thank you, Sayyidina, and thank you, brothers and sisters, for being with us till another Sunday brunch, same time, same place. We leave you in the care of Allah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.